Hi everyone, my name is Melissa van Dijk and in today's video I'm sharing one of my favorite skin-friendly meals, which is stuffed tomatoes with minced meat, boiled potatoes and a DIY yogurt dip. It's simple, nourishing and perfect for lunch or dinner. Now if you follow my previous videos, you know that I love sharing recipes that support digestion and helps keep skin clear. And this dish is exactly that. It's tasty, satisfying and gentle on the body. Now something I've really learned on my own skin journey is how important it is to be mindful of what we eat, not just in terms of nutrition, but also ingredient quality. Because from my experience, food contamination is one of the biggest triggers for breakouts. So choosing the right ingredients really makes a difference. Now while decent quality meat does matter, vegetables, herbs and spices are often even more important. They can carry more toxic residues from pesticides or other chemicals used during farming. And that's why I always recommend going organic whenever possible. And if that's not an option, just go for the freshest, cleanest ingredients you can find from sources you trust. Also, don't worry if you're not using fresh herbs or garlic. Dried flakes and powdered versions are totally fine. In fact, I personally find them much more tolerable than some fresh ingredients. They work really well for me and that's why I'm using them in my recipes too. Just make sure that they are tested and clean, free from residues or altered ingredients. And you can check independent tests online, that's how I do it, and I really recommend this to help reduce the toxic load on your digestive system. Also, always cook the food yourself. It might not remove every unknown, especially if you're using conventional ingredients, but it gives you way more control over what goes actually into your food. You can avoid unnecessary additives, prepare things in a much cleaner way, and begin to understand which ingredients support your digestion and skin. And just so you know, my recipes are usually made for 2 portions, so feel free to adjust the quantities if you're cooking for more or less. And of course, you'll find the full ingredients list down in the description box below. Alright, enough of the theory, let's start cooking. Let's start with the yogurt dip. It needs some time to rest in the fridge so the flavors can fully develop. I personally like to prepare it the night before, which gives it the best taste. But you can also make it the same day. So let's go. First, make sure your hands are clean. Then take a clean small bowl, ideally glass or ceramic, and add the following ingredients. 125 grams of sheep yogurt, 0.7 to 1 gram of fine rock salt, 1 teaspoon of organic garlic flakes, and 1 teaspoon of organic dried, fresh or frozen chives. Then mix everything together with a teaspoon. And finally, cover the bowl with a lid or plastic wrap and place it in the fridge. Now, let's move on to the stuffed tomatoes. Start by preheating your oven to 150 degrees Celsius using top and bottom heat, or 140 degrees Celsius for fan setting. Then get 2 fairly large tomatoes. The ones I'm using here are organic, fleshy tomatoes. Wash them thoroughly under running warm water. Then pat them dry with clean kitchen paper. Slice off the lid or bottom of each tomato and carefully cut along the inner edge with a knife. Then scoop out the fleshy part with a spoon until the center is empty. Place the tomatoes in an oven-safe dish and set them aside. Now let's make the meat filling. Take about 250 grams of minced meat, pork, beef, lamb or mix, and pat it dry with clean kitchen paper to remove any excess moisture. Next, add your spices. And I'm using about 3 grams of fine rock salt, 1 teaspoon of garlic flakes, and 1.5 grams of chili and bell pepper powder. Mix everything well, using your hands for about 1 to 2 minutes. Then take half of the mincemeat mixture, form it into large meatballs, and press each one into a hollowed out tomato. Place the tomato lids back on top. Then put the stuffed tomatoes into the oven and let them bake for about 45 to 50 minutes. While the tomatoes are in the oven, let's prepare the potatoes. Take about 500 grams of waxy potatoes and wash them well under running water, removing any dirt and sprouts. Then fill the pot with water and set it aside. Now peel the potatoes. Removing the skin and eyes helps eliminate dirt, pesticide residue and anti-nutrients. Place them immediately into the pot of water to prevent browning. Next, cut the potatoes into chunks. Any size is fine. Just try to keep them roughly the same so they cook evenly. Drain the water, refill the pot, swish the potatoes with your hand and rinse again. Repeat this 2 to 3 times. Now fill the pot with fresh water, about this much, and add about 10 grams of coarse rock salt per liter of water and bring it to a boil. Once boiling, reduce the heat slightly so it's not bubbling too aggressively. Let the potatoes boil for about 20 to 40 minutes, depending on the variety. After 20 minutes, test with a fork or spoon to see if they're tender or if they still need a bit more time. And once they're ready, drain the water and let the steam escape. Then add about 15 grams of butter and mix everything well until fully coated. Put the lid back on and set them aside. Now take the stuffed tomatoes out of the oven and the yogurt dip out of the fridge. And then it's time to plate everything nicely. What you have here is a complete balanced meal. It contains everything your body needs. And it's healthy in a real way, not just a marketing way. It keeps you full for hours, thanks to the perfect combination of protein, vitamins, fiber and carbs. No cravings, no blood sugar dips, just clean, sustained energy. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did so, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you gave this one a try. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm now off to enjoy my lunch.